I can't remember a time when I've seen Bears fans so depressed, Ziggy. I've seen Bears fans miserable many times. I've laughed at it. I've pitied it a few times. But this one, I do genuinely just feel bad. Like they're all, you see the Bears fans leaving the game. It's like you could hear a pin drop. I mean, you watch the Barstool guys and they're like, look like you shot a puppy. And Weston just texted us, I hate the Packers. And
that's it.
And that was it.
He didn't respond. We tried checking in on him and he didn't say a thing.
He just it's absolute misery. And this is one where it went about as well as it could go for a Bears Packers game. And you get your rookie quarterback to take you on what should have been a game-winning drive to change the vibes, to change the narrative, maybe on the season. Like maybe really on the season when we go back and look at the story of the 2024 Bears. You beat the Packers, snap that 10-game losing streak the week that everything blows up inside of your organization. And maybe this is a week that you could turn everything around. And to have it be a blocked kick, it's just, it's nightmare material for Chicago. I really do feel bad.
I mean, they were 4-2 coming off a thrashing of the Jaguars, which seems to be an NFL pastime at this point. And let's just review their 4 games. Hail Mary Commanders, obliterated by Arizona, obliterated in your own house by the Patriots, blocked field goal, lost to the Packers. I mean, if they just fix the Hail Mary and that blocked field goal, they're 6-4. They're sitting at the 6th seed. You beat New England, one of the worst teams in the NFL. You're 7-3. It feels like they're so close to being like, and if you're 7-3, you're thinking we got a great chance of going to the playoffs here. Caleb Williams is probably looking good. You're happy. You ask why Bears fans are depressed. I mean, when was the last time that in season with a young quarterback, the Bears really had hope? Where they were like, this guy's starting to look good. We can make the playoffs with him. We've got a great defense. We can finally make some noise. I mean, Mitch Trubisky in 2018?
I mean, the 2018 team was, I think that's the last time Bears fans fooled themselves into believing, because we knew, we were watching. We knew that Mitch wasn't going to work out, but the defense was so good. And the turnovers they were generating was just not sustainable. Other than, a magical year. That was the Khalil Mack year when he was just, oh my God, how good was he? That ended with the double doink, I believe. So that's the last time. And Chicago was rolling. I mean, they were pumped up. That's the year we went to the game, and Bears fans were, they were seriously living life. And I have to say, even though I'm a Viking fan, it was fun to see Weston happy. It was fun to see some of our friends who are Bears fans back. I think the NFL is fun when the Bears are good. Now you can't get too good, or else that's when there's a problem.
No, the NFL's fun when the Bears are okay. Yeah. When your rivals are in the dumps, it's not fun to play them. You just feel bad when they cry all the time.
I don't always feel bad. I mean, the Bears I'll feel a little bad for, but the Packers are bad, or the Saints are I have no remorse for the Saints.
No, when they're bad all the time, like the Bears are. They're bad every year.
I would love for the Saints. Yeah. But that's more of a me moral issue.
But all I mean to say is just I really think they had some of that hope this season, right? That 3-game stretch where Caleb Williams looked good. And to have that taken away from you when it's finally starting to turn around and you feel like you're exercising the demons. I mean, we've felt the sting of the blue sky franchise that is the Green Bay Packers, right? You and me, we know what this feels like. Not like the Bears do, but when things just go the Packers' way, it's one of the worst feelings in the whole world as a fan of another team.
We can also say though, for Chicago, you also had today there were good moments to pick out. You can look back on this game, and it was very
that's
very
not
disappointing.
How you feel right after
no,
the
it's
game
not. It's not how you feel. But there were some steps forward today. Obviously, no one's happy about it. No NFC North fan. No one wanted to see the Packers win. None of us like the Packers, guys. We all we can't stand them. But you could take away some positives, and the whole goal of the year is to have Caleb in a place where heading into 2025, you can be competitive. Today, you made a step in that direction. It's not the result anyone wanted, but if you're searching for positives, now, all right, we move on. That's what you do if you're Bears fans. Horrible loss, move on. Let's figure out how to get better next week.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're a Bears fan right now, what I'm looking at is the hardest rest of schedule I've seen ever looking at a team. I mean, you realize what they have to look forward to here? They get to host the Vikings, go to Detroit, go to San Francisco, go to Minnesota, host Detroit, host the Seahawks, go to Green Bay. That's your
Oh,
rest of
God.
season. That's what you have to look forward to. How many of those games are they going to win?
You know what I see, Ziggy? I see opportunity for the Bears fans.
You
I
really
see-
are trying on optimistic, Paul, aren't
I
you?
see an opportunity for them to go and beat up on some NFC North teams that have owned them for far too long in their eyes. And you had the chance to really make a statement if you're Caleb Williams over those 7 games.
Have
That's
you
what I
ever
see.
considered consulting?
Thinking about it.
Because that sounds like you're throwing out some buzzwords here to mask the fact that the Bears season only gets worse from here.
Yeah, to say that they're screwed. It
There's
only
an
gets worse.
opportunity to look slightly less bad and be slightly less miserable.
Hey, I'll tell you, next week against the Vikings, this is one as a Vikings fan that I'm nervous for. Like, we usually go into Chicago and lose this football game. I'm actually not expecting to win right now. Even though the Bears are reeling, it's a tough place to play. I mean, Chicago is always a great atmosphere. The defense is always tough, and they have a way of generating turnovers against us and shutting down the run game. I feel like whenever we play them, we run for like 40 yards, maybe, if we're lucky. And, they had a couple big plays today. They intercepted Jordan Love when that game, I really thought it could have got out of hand at 14-3. Even though 14-3 is a 2-score game, just with the feeling of that game, you go up 11 points. Yeah, at the time, Caleb is not really moving the ball that well. Like, I think it could have gotten a lot uglier. But in Chicago, they usually show up. And on the flip side of things for the Packers, we talked about it before the game. Massive win. Massive win to stay in the race for not only the wild card in good positioning, but actually for the division too. I mean, Detroit's a juggernaut, but you still play them again. And they have a couple tough games against the Vikings and the 49ers later on this season. So, you know what? If Green Bay wants to win the NFC North, you got to beat a couple of the teams that you got to beat some of the NFC North teams. That's just how it goes with division football. And their opportunity lies ahead of them as well, just like it does for the Bears to end this season on a high note. I think Packers fans, though, the big concern is, hey, man, we need number 10 to start looking like number 10 from last year. And we haven't seen it yet this season. That interception could have proved costly. Now, they did go on the game-winning drive. I think that's a sign that all Packers fans, like, that was a drive they needed to see. But yeah, there are still some concerns about them moving the football. The defense was the problem today, but you got to get number 10 back to the way he looked the final half of last season. And I'm not sure we're going to get that.
I mean, with the contract that Jordan Love has, you can't count on him having an elite defense and elite weapons around him forever. I'm not saying he has either of those now. I think the weapons are very good, but eventually that's going to catch up. Yeah, like you said, what this team runs through number 10. That just is what it is. When you hand a guy a huge contract and say you're a quarterback of the future, that's what it's going to be. So I don't know. We need to see more from them. I think that it's quite possible we will. Jordan Love last year, he looked terrible until he looked very, very good. And there are a few opportunities for rebounding here, but they need to figure it out. They've got tough games coming up very, very soon, right? We talked about on the 49ers side, but they host the 49ers next week. That's not going to be an easy game. You need a good offense to keep up with them. And well, I think it's possible for Jordan Love to do so, and there's the pieces around him. They need better play, particularly in the red zone. That's been the thorn for this team all year. He hasn't been able to get it done down there. They can move the ball up and down the field, and you can do that as much as you want. At a certain point, you got to put 7s and not 3s on the board.
Yeah, a lot of people in the reaction show, the full reaction to the Packers-Bears game, were pointing out, and we know this, Chicago had, going into this game, the number 1 red zone defense in the NFL. But guys,
don't care. Score.
Guys, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. The other way is you were 29th in your red zone efficiency. So it wasn't just the Bears game. Before the Bears game, you were one of the worst in the league. And today you were bad again. So that has to get cleaned up. I believe, like, Packers fans were very disappointed in the comment section with the performance today. I think I've been more optimistic than most Green Bay fans on the win, like by far. I mean, you saw us in the reaction show. I was like, guys, a win's a win. Like, I don't care, move on. They didn't look very good, but they got the win against a tough team. Like the Bears are better than the Jaguars. They're better than the Titans. They're better than the Raiders. Like, there are worse teams to look bad against than the Bears on the road. It's end of division opponent, but yeah, like I think anyone would agree it needs to get better to get to the ultimate goal. But you take the win here, and now it starts. I mean, now you have Detroit, Minnesota, San Francisco, like all these teams that we're all playing each other, and we'll see. You know, like the team that deserves the 1 seed will probably have earned it. So or even just good matchups in the playoffs, not necessarily the 1 seed. So I think Packers fans should absolutely take the win, move on. But yeah, it needs to get better. And this is around the time last year where Jordan Love really, like, I mean, he turned it around over the final 10 games of the season, maybe 8. But this is about the time where it's like, all right, needs to start now. And I kind of think it will. So.
Well, time to prove it.
Yeah, time to prove it.
He has not proved this season that he is worthy of the deal and the trust they gave him. Time to prove it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It starts with the game-winning drive. So I think that's a good place to begin for Green Bay.